Like river stone, it may be that some edges get worn smooth. Or maybe it's just these days you don't have as much to prove. So you try to pick your battles, 'cause some fights are still worth winning. When you reach the end of the beginning.
The end of the beginning. That was such a lovely song. And if you are just tuning into Suki Says on WBZH The Buzz, I am Suki. This is The Buzz. And I have my guest tonight, my in-studio guest. I'm very excited to have him in. And that was your song with Chris.
That was, Chris Christopherson singing along, which was a big honor for a local boy.
Tell me a little bit about the new album, because that's the title track off of the new one.
It's the first one I made in Philadelphia in many, many years. The last 3-4 albums have been done either in New York or Nashville. And this one I did with another local radio icon from before your time.
How old do you think I am?
You're probably pushing 24.
Oh my gosh, you're good at this. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a master at this.
Okay. Don't guess my weight. Don't guess my weight.
The fellow that I'm referring to used to be with a station that's no longer around, WIOQ, in the 70s, kind of the first progressive rock station in Philadelphia, or one of them. Harvey in the morning, his call name was, and so Harvey produced the record for me, or with me, and so we had just a lot of friends chime in. Bill Miller, the amazing Native American flute player, and Freebo, who used to back up Bonnie and Joni and all, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and he's out in L.A. and everybody. We made it kind of via email. Everybody kind of used the internet to kind of send their parts in from all over the country. Pat Wichter, who's with Brother Son up in Brooklyn, had a fella named Pitts Quattrone up in Vermont in a cabin playing didgeridoo.
I love the didgeridoo.
Oh, it's just the coolest.
I would love to circular breathe, but I can't do it. I get too distracted.
You have to use your ears, I think. You have to. I breathe in through my ears rather than my... It doesn't work on radio, folks, but I can do it. So, anyway, I'm real proud of the way it came out, and especially proud that I get to do a duet with my daughter Sarah and my friend and hero Chris Christopherson. And
sounds like it literally is an American album, because you said people just send in from one coast to the other all their stuff together. Yeah.
It was just, it's interesting because I'm not very technologically proficient, and or even with vocabulary sometimes. But everybody's getting to be, it's just amazing that the country, the recording studio is getting very small. I mean, no matter where you are, you're in the studio right now.
Mm-hmm. Now, I kind of want to hear a song right away.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure. All right.
What's up first?
I, from time to time, cover other writers on my albums. I've done stuff by Phil Oakes and Chris, and this time I decided to give a break to a young unknown upstart from New Jersey. So. With her killer graces and her secret places that no boy can fill, with her hands on her hips, oh, and that smile on her lips, because she knows that it kills me. With her soft French cream standing in that doorway like a dream, I wish she'd just leave me alone, because
'cause French cream won't soften them boots, and French kisses will not break that heart of stone. With your long hair falling and her eyes, they shine like a midnight sun. Oh, she's the one. She's the one. That thunder in your heart at night when you're kneeling in the dark, it says you're never gonna leave her. But there's this angel in her eyes that tells such desperate lies, and all you want to do is believe her. So tonight you'll try just one more time to leave it at the heart of the break on through. Oh, she can take you if she wants to break you. She's gonna find out that ain't so easy to do. And no matter where you sleep tonight or how far you run, oh, she's the one. She's the one. One kiss, she'll fill them long summer nights with her tenderness. That secret pact you made back when her love could save you from the bitterness. Oh, she's the one. She's the one. Oh, she's the one.
I like the laugh at the end. So much joy in this room.
Bruce Springsteen, that's from the Born to Run album.
Mm-hmm. I was going to play Born to Run a little earlier, but I didn't. I'm glad I didn't because then...
Well, now you're all set.
Yeah, I know.
They're all primed.
Now, we were talking a little bit before coming on the air here about the festival this past weekend.
Yeah, I played at the Spring Gulch Folk Festival out in New Holland, PA. And it was a perfect weekend weather-wise. I think it was the best folk festival weekend like I've ever had.
It was gorgeous.
And it was just a wonderful time. And my daughter Sarah did a set out there, and she was incredible. Not just because I'm her dad, she really was.
I can vouch for it because I knew about her before I knew about you.
Yeah, that's
I think she's
so
great
cool.
That
you know,
I discovered you through your daughter.
Finally, my kids are like paying off. You know, they're out. They're out there.
Glad
drumming.
you had them.
That's I wasn't. I was on the edge for a while. But anyway, she did great. She sings great and plays real good and writes well. And it turns out she's really funny, which I didn't really know because she's kind of quiet around the house all these years. So
if you want to see, I've got video of her live performances from that night that
Oh,
I
really?
first saw her.
At the Tin Angel.
Yeah.
Check them out. Yes. So anyway, it was great. Ramblin' Jack Elliott, who's another hero of mine and an American icon and legend. Jack was traveled with Woody Guthrie, and he was the bridge between Woody and Bob Dylan. Bob just kind of tagged along with Jack for years, kind of studying everything he did, and there'd be no Dylan if there weren't for Ramblin' Jack. And so anyway, I met Jack on tour some years ago and went out to California and stayed with him a little while. And you had mentioned that Chris's voice has that American West quality, which was so beautiful the way you put it. And Jack is the Old West. He really is. So catching up with him and all kinds of friends and playing music and being outside, it was all the best of all possible worlds.
I like that. You get together and jam sometimes, or when you can.
Well, yeah. I mean,
friends,
my job kind of puts me out. Because I work solo, I don't get to run into a lot of friends that often. Festivals are special, and it's kind of music confabs that like the Folk Alliance things. Those are the opportunities that you grab onto.
Now, do you prefer, because you do both? You do intimate sets like you're going to be doing at Puck coming up, and then you also do the big outdoorsy, lots of people out in the sun kind of festivals. Do you have a preference, or do you love it all?
I really do love it all, and I don't feel that there's that much difference, because I'll usually only find 2 or 3 people in the crowd and I'll sing to them. I mean, so I just if you were sitting there, I'd just lock on and sing to you, and just like we're doing this afternoon. So I mean,
it's a good thing nobody's here. I'm blushing.
But you really can't. It's a human thing, and for me, it becomes. It becomes very direct, soul to soul, heart to heart when I sing songs, and I can't really process, thousands of people. I mean, you can't. I don't know what that means to sing to that many faces. So I find somebody who's kind of I can tell by their face if they're there to hear me, and so that's usually how the set works. And I don't think it's that unusual, actually. I think a lot of us actually kind of do that. We find our port in the storm, and we hold on. I
like that. Now, do you ever lock onto somebody and they're like picking their nose?
Yeah, but usually it's the other way around. So.
Oh man. Okay. Now, tell me a little bit about the journey from the beginning, because some of my listeners are a little bit different than, let's say, Mike Holliday's listeners. Mm-hmm. So they may not know so much about you. Though I did give them homework. I tell them to look people up when they're coming in. I give them homework. I don't always know if they do it. Yeah, I do. So
you just gotta chill. I'm picturing this woman teaching a 5th grade class and me sitting in the back of the room.
Okay, fine then. Show and tell. Tell me about yourself.
I'd be clapping the erasers after school, and that's not a euphemism. That's just clapping the erasers. I don't even know what that meant, but all of a sudden it sounded bad. What was the question?
That had me snorting.
I grew up around Philadelphia. I went to Temple University, and I put myself through school playing music. And I went to Nashville out of college. I got signed as a staff songwriter, and I wrote songs for country artists for a while. And that's actually where I met Chris, because I was signed to the same publishing company that published a lot of my heroes, and he was the main one.
The lovely Tumbleweed.
The Tumbleweed. But he had written songs like Me and Bobby McGee and For the Good Times and Sunday Morning Coming Down, which Johnny Cash had recorded. And so it was my dream to write for the same folks that Kristofferson wrote for, and I ended up making that happen. And then after a while, it became kind of obvious that I wasn't really cut out for writing songs that guys in cowboy hats were going to actually record that often. So I kind of moved back to the Philly area and played almost every place with a liquor license within 150 miles of here, Avalon, New Jersey, a lot in the summer times, the shore bars. And then about, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, well, even longer than that, late 90s, I got signed to Gene Shea's fledgling record label, Sliced Bread. And it was my first national release, and that did pretty well. And then so little by little, I've been kind of branching out and touring. And, now I keep telling people I got to go farther and farther to get folks to listen to me. So now I'm just as likely to be playing in L.A. as I am to be playing in Westchester or Collegeville or whatever. But anyway, so this weekend I'm in Doylestown, and I'm looking forward to that because I've never played in Doylestown.
Never played at all or Puck or anything like that?
No,
it's
not
a good
there.
venue. You'll like it. Like that intimate thing.
Well, if you're giving people homework assignment, make sure you send some of them out.
Puck, Doylestown, John Flynn. Now, what time are you going on?
I think the opening artist is at 7, so probably about 8.
Okay. All right. Now, if I come, you're going to sing to me?
Like we said, I will just lock on.
Are you going to sing to me right now again?
I'd like to do that.
I'd like that.
All right. I'm just an old piece of hickory. Time is just God's pocket knife. The years ain't taking what I need to have the time of my life. 'Cause after all these years together, and after all we've been through, I'm still as crazy as ever. Crazy as ever for you. My gold is the sunlight in your hair. My silver, the moon and the stars. Those vagabond midnight companions that whisper your name in the hours when all of the miles are lonesome and all my dreams can come true. As long as this road that I travel still leads my love back to you. After all these years together, and after all we've been through, I'm still as crazy as ever. Crazy as ever for you. Darling, they say what don't kill you just makes you strong in the end. I'm not sure that's true with a lover. I'm not sure that's true with a friend. So thank you for not giving up, dear, on this stubborn fool or his songs. I know my love ain't always easy, but I swear to God it is strong. After all these years together, and after all we've been through, I'm still as crazy as ever. Crazy as ever for you. After all these years together, and after all we've been through, I'm
still as crazy as ever. Crazy as ever for you.
Oh, I like that one.
Thank you.
That's what I deem. I have a term for things. That's what I would call a gooey heart song.
A gooey heart song. I suppose that's fair.
That's what I call it. You have a lot of gooey heart songs. You have a lot of songs. What is something that people don't always get about your music, or what's like a common misconception?
Well, over the past few years, I've written a lot of topical songs, and I think that my reputation has gotten, to be such that folks think of me as like this raging liberal protest singer. And I was asked about that once. I did a workshop down in Nashville with Janet Reno and a couple other folks, and I was asked what's it like to be a protest singer in this day and age, and it really kind of took me by surprise, because I don't think of myself that way. I think of myself as a singer of love songs. I think "This Land Is Your Land" by Woody Guthrie is a love song, even though there are verses. The most people haven't heard the verses that Woody wrote to close the song, which really have to do with some of the problems that we should be addressing to take care of each other. And so that part of my songwriting is a very real part of who I am as an artist. But anyway, I think of those as love songs and not as protest songs. But I guess it's fair to call them either gooey protest songs.
Gooey protest songs. I like that. No, I like that. I'm going to start saying that about all protest songs that make me feel gooey.
Good.
In the heart. Like, I don't know the way I explain it is the gooey heart songs, like that really, really sweet one you just sang, is sort of like your heart is no longer hard. It's like a gooey piece of chocolate cake that just came out of the oven kind of feeling.
Okay. Well, it all depends on who I mean, if it were if Mike were sitting here in the chair interviewing me, I probably wouldn't have sung a gooey heart song to him, because it just felt weird me singing to him in this little booth here, and I would have picked something else. So it just depends, where,
He's listening right now.
Where the spirit leads us. Hello, Mike.
All right. Now, I would love to hear one more before
Okay.
you head out, or two more.
Let me grab another harp out of my case, since I was talking about gooey protest songs.
Now, for those of you who can't see into the studio, which is all of you except for me and Ross in the other room, he's got the harmonica stand thingy on the shoulders, which I'm impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed, because I can't even play it with my hands. I don't know how to play one. I've tried, and I've looked like a fool playing around with one. Yeah. So he's got the guitar and the harmonica stand going on at the same time on his shoulders. And it's quite amusing to watch. It's great, because he gets so into it.
Oh, I'm amusing to watch, folks, that's for sure. This is a song that I wrote about a year ago, and I wrote it for the kids in the streets of Cairo who were taking part in the Arab Spring uprisings. And I was so inspired by their courage and filled with a sense of hope. And so back in the fall, I got to sing this to the kids in the streets of New York in Zuccotti Park for the Occupy Wall Street movement. I was there on the same day that Crosby and Nash played, so you probably didn't hear about me being there, but I was. And I got to meet a young woman who was part of the Occupy movement. Her name was Katie, and she was kind of filling me in on what was really happening there and the day-to-day stuff and what it was like. And I said, it's so cool to actually know somebody and not have to rely on the press's version of what's happening here. So she says, well, give me your iPhone. So she punches her phone number into my iPhone, pushes send. She says, now you can call and you can find out what's happening anytime you want. So a couple of weeks go by, and I'm listening to the radio, and the news broadcast is that the Occupy Wall Street folks have blockaded the Brooklyn Bridge, and they're all getting arrested. And I think of my friend Katie, and I think, I wonder, and I pull out my iPhone, and I scroll back through the received calls, and I see this area code I don't recognize, and I push send, and somebody picks up, and I hear like sirens and bullhorns and people chanting, and I hear this woman's voice going, "Oh my gosh, it's John Flynn."
Oh, man.
So she says, "John Flynn, we're on the Brooklyn Bridge. We're getting arrested. It's so beautiful, man." And I thought, oh, wow, to be 20 years old again. God bless her. So anyway, I've been doing this for Katie ever since. I said, put the phone down, go get arrested, make sure you're safe, and call me when you're okay. And she did. And actually, they threw the kids out of the park. It was getting cold, and they cracked down, and they weren't allowed to stay in the park. So I said, "What are you guys doing?" And she said, "All of the churches and synagogues and stuff have opened their doors to us, and so we've been actually sleeping in the pews and in the aisles and stuff. And then they come out with donuts and coffee in the morning, and they feed us, and sometimes they preach to us a little bit." And she said, "This morning, the Reverend was talking about loving your neighbor, and he said, I want you to go out and really let the cops know that you love them as people. Really love the police." She said, "If I thought religion was like that, I'd be religious." I said, "But it isn't, or at least it's supposed to be, or we should make it that way."
I think I'd like her.
Yeah, you would. She's one of those gooey people. This is called Democracy the Weed. Democracy is growing like a weed, right up through the barbed wire, crumbling concrete, where the rubber bullets and tear gas grenades cannot keep the kids from singing on the barricades. Let the weed grow wild in the backyard, child. It don't ask much, just a little bit of sun and rain. Let the weed grow tall by the old stone wall. If you cut it down, it'll just grow back again. Just grow back again. The seeds were thrown by martyrs, carried by the wind, from places like Chile and Tiananmen, where the blood of poets, scoundrels, fools, and saints stain the whitewashed walls of history like graffiti paints. Let the weed grow wild in the backyard, child. It don't ask much, just a little bit of sun and rain. Let the weed grow tall by the old stone wall. If you cut it down, it'll just grow back again. Just grow back again. Some folks want folks to stand in rows again. You know I ain't one of those, my friend. Down along the beaten path, all the ones who have not cried out to the ones who have. Let the weed go wild. Let the weed go wild. Democracy is growing like a weed.
Thank you so much for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
Now, is there any chance that you might be playing Philly Folk Fest this year? Do you know?
Well, since I got to play the 50th last summer, I'm not expecting to get invited 2 years in a row. That's kind of unusual, but I might be hanging around somewhere.
All right.
If I'm not on the road, I usually wind up backstage
Somehow.
some capacity or incapacity.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in, John Flynn. You've got a Facebook too. You've got a website.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that last song is available for free download at johnflynn.net because I really wanted to share that one with folks so they can go get it.
Oh, I'm glad you shared it with everyone. I liked it. Thank you.
Thanks, Suki.
We're going to take a quick break right now. WBZH The Buzz.
1370 AM, WBZH Pottstown.